Is a professor in art, and she teaches at OU in Zanesville, and has a commuter life. So she will be leaving us a little early to go to teach her art. She studied art, also taught dear at CCAD Capital.
Shawnee State University.
Oh, really? Tell us about that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming over. We are so thrilled to have everyone. Well, I would like to start to say I am very happy to be a part of the United States and as a citizen, so exciting. Well, my story, my history starts back in Soviet. I'm an immigrant, and I came from Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is the former USSR Republic. So my childhood went through Soviet culture, and I grew up in a diverse cultural family with multiple languages, cultures, and I've been exposed to art since birth. So traveling a lot, and I'm a city girl, being exposed to different diversity of culture and art. So it's been part of my life. So I've been an artist since I can remember myself. In 2001, I immigrated to the United States, and I've been painting, exhibiting since, and this is my primary focus. A few years later, I became a teacher, and I started my teaching career as an art teacher in Shawnee State University. I have to say, I was born in a family of teachers, but I've never expected to be one. I thought it's a tremendous job, such a task, and I want to be a free artist and just paint. But then I realized when I started teaching, it is an incredible gift to share your passion and be able to be that light, to be that guidance and open the door of, to the art world. It's a very special place and community, so I really enjoy that.
And you have facilitated this beautiful show of the Ohio Art League. So in your loving art, you're encouraging others in art, and I noticed online how many of your students say how encouraging you are as a teacher. So tell us what you have facilitated here in the Ohio Art League and bringing this together with our Cultural Arts Center.
Thank you. Great question. It was an exciting experience working. Our league has a history over 100 years, and we're 1,000 members league. So juried exhibitions are fundamentally their primary focus of our programming, and of course they're the most important, and we pay so much attention to selecting the juror, the process itself. So we had about 500 submitted artworks, and our juror, Robert Thurmer, had to select 64 out of 500. So can you imagine reviewing 500 artworks? It is an exciting process, and for me, I was creating the show, a challenge, how to combine such a diverse collection. We have different styles, different experience level. We have students who have shown their work for the first time in this exhibit. And then we have well-established artists whose careers being blessed in their, the pillars of a community. So how do we put together a show that features every talent on every level? And perhaps this is our strength of a league. That's who we are. We provide venues for every level of artist career, and we try to merge them and build a community that provides that connection.
That's very helpful. Can you think of anyone that stands out and you went, aha, this would be good. Aha, this would be wonderful. How does it happen in you that you choose?
I can't pick favorite because every expression, it's me, myself, I'm an academic artist. I studied academic art. Russian academic school was fundamental guidelines for me, of course, but I do appreciate contemporary art, modern art, abstract. So there is a room for every, and the brilliance, and it doesn't really, it doesn't have to be in the complexity of composition to be called great art. So it's hard to choose what is the best. Of course, behind me we have this beautiful wall, and if I have to pick one of the work that I would like to talk a little bit, that would be Hiroshi's drawing, right here. Hiroshi won the second place. And in fact, last night, we had a meeting, and the recipients of the award recipients were here to talk about their work and to talk about the style and inspiration. And Hirashi shared with us that he's a photographer as well. In fact, he's teaching CCAD photography classes. So his inspiration comes from studying nude model and the focus on tonal values. It's very interesting. Of course, looking at his work, I would emphasize the skills, absolutely extraordinary skills. The time he puts in, the understanding in English of anatomy and composition is exemplary. I can't help but admire his skills and his talent and his vision. But with all the other artists, it's the diversity that is impressive. We are so different. We live in one community, yet we find a way to be inspired by so many things. So it's a blessing to be a creative director in such a large community, and it's an honor for me.
Thank you. Last week we had Mark Freshwater, a musician, a composer, and he played his music while we're surrounded with this beautiful composition that you put together as a curator. And it was filmed by Channel 3. So I watched it, and I thought, this is gorgeous in the middle of the city. And we thank you for that. And for all the artists part of it. Now, Erica, tell us how you, a creator in art, you taught in a number of places, and that's where I was thinking, CCAD, you taught at CCAD in Capital and OSU, and you love art. And so you're facilitating it to be possible for us to purchase all of this in a kind of an exciting, competitive way, huh? And so you are the creator of or part of Everything But the House.
So
tell us.
I am the fine art specialist for the Columbus Everything But the House location, and it is really exciting to be able to pull this work together. We basically, something about Everything But the House is we are an auction house. We started out as an estate sale company, and we have become so much more than that. We started out going into estates and taking care of those, and now we have really transitioned into where we still do estates. We also work with consigners, and we help people sell their collections. So one of the things I was thinking about when I was driving to work one day, I'll tell you how this auction came about, is that I was driving to work one day, and I was thinking about our art community and what could we do for contemporary artists. And I was thinking in particular about this artist behind me. This is, I want to pronounce her name right, but it's really difficult. Oluwaki Omuwire. Is that correct, Suzanne? Does that sound about right?
We call her.
Oh, we call her Kimmy. It's much easier to call her Kimmy. She is.
Well, let's introduce Suzanne Begley for a moment.
This is Suzanne Begley.
Yes. On the board of the Columbus Museum of Art.
Well, I'm on the women's board for the Columbus Museum of Art, but I am the curated consignment specialist for Everything But the House. So I handle all the repeat sellers.
Wonderful. And you brought some people with you today?
Yes.
Great.
Board
Welcome.
members here, and we've got gentlemen who are ambassadors for EBTH. But anyway, Erica, finish your story. Sorry, it's much more exciting than anything I'm going to say.
So we have Kimmy. She is a self-taught painter. She's from Nigeria originally, and she resides in Columbus, Ohio now. She began bringing her work to us this year, just bringing in paintings. And I'm not sure if she talked to you directly. I'm not sure how she began bringing her paintings, but she began bringing these paintings in, and they sell really well. So her first one, I believe, sold for $1,600 that she brought in. She does these, they're portraits, but they're more than portraits. She's studied psychology. She's very interested in human expression and emotional expression on the face in particular. So all of her paintings are very expressive, all about facial expressions, and they're incredibly vibrant colors that go along with the emotional content of the face. So they're amazing and wonderful, and she's been bringing them in ever since. They do very well. And I was driving to work one morning and I was thinking to myself, I was thinking about Kimmy, and I was thinking about why do not more artists bring their work to us to sell? Why are not more artists consigning? And the answer to me was because they don't know that we're here. And they don't know that what we can do for them and what we can provide for them. So we're full service. One of the things that I know as a visual artist is how hard it is to market your own work. You know, as a visual artist, you want to be all about the making of the pieces and being in the creating. And then there's this whole other aspect of it, of marketing. You have to sell it, you have to have the website. You know, it can be really overwhelming and take up a lot of time. And not that we're to replace that, but to be able to come to us and say, here's my painting. And then we title it, we list it, we photograph it, we get you the audience to see it, and then the bidding starts. And so that's one of the things I was thinking, how can we get the word out? So I thought about, let's do a contemporary Ohio artist auction. Let's put a call for entries out, let's see what happens. So I went to Suzanne with my idea, and I've learned that if you need anything done, you go to Suzanne, like anything at all, if you have a problem. So everyone go to Suzanne if you have an issue of any kind, she'll solve it for you. No, so I went to Suzanne with this issue and with this idea, and I said, what do you think? And she said, I think it's great. And I said, we need a place to display it. We want to have a preview. Can we do it here at the warehouse? And she said, I have an idea. I have a couple of friends. So she brought it to Rick and Doug, who are on the board here at the Cultural Arts Center, and then they brought it to the board, and the board agreed to let us display it. Rick and Doug, who are absolutely amazing. So anyhow, so they brought it to the board, and the board agreed to display it. And then we were planning to have it at a certain time period, and it just so happened that the Ohio Art League was going to be having their exhibition at the same time. And we didn't want to take up space for them, but we also, you know, would they be willing to let us have a week of the time that they're here? And Fatima and the board graciously agreed to allow us to do that. And I think it's really just a wonderful partnership. And it's a really great way to get the word out to artists to say, hey, this is a platform that you can use, you can bring your work to us. All you do is drop your work off, we take care of the rest of it, and then you get a check. And that's really how it works.
And the auction is going on right now.
Yes, this auction, all the pieces that you see up on the tables and on the easels, and then also we have some in the cases back here. All of these works are on auction right now on our website at Everything But the House. It's called the Ohio Artist Sale, so if you go in there, you can find it. And all these works are on auction. They started on Monday, and they will be up for auction until Sunday at 8 p.m. Yes. And we've had there's been a lot of response, and it's very exciting. So we're hoping that this is the first of many.
So Sunday, here, from 1 to 7, what are the times?
1 to 5.
1 to 5.
1 to 5, there will be an auction, formally.
There will not be a formal auction. What happens on Sunday?
Online.
Yes, everything happens online.
Okay.
All of the bidding happens online. However, on Sunday, we will have people here to help people get online, see how the bidding process works if you're not sure how that happens.
And we have brochures in the back for anybody who wants paper directions. You know, if you want to take something with you, the 4 easy steps to get registered, we have those. And
All right, let's bring up the artist's work that
This is my work.
artist who is coordinating and encouraging everyone, and whose students say she's such an encourager. Let's see what Fatima is doing. Can you hold it up while you talk?
Well, this is my one of my study portraits of artist Mark Chagall. I grew up in learning about Russian artists, and he's one of the fundamental leading artists in Russian art. Marc Chagall, and I was inspired by his colors and wide whimsical palette, so I decided to use that. The medium for this painting is ink on board, quite not traditional way, because usually we use ink on paper, and I often find using ink behind a glass kind of adds glare, it's difficult to deal with and transporting, so I thought about experimenting with this medium. And I'm a portraitist. I love faces. I find them fascinating, and you often find me staring at you because I just admire proportions and character. And it is my passion. Although I don't limit myself, portraits are my favorite, and I decided to include 2 portraits in this exciting event. Thank you, Erica. To be supportive of the event itself and to experiment. I'm an artist as well, and let's be honest, we're all lacking the venues of exposing, and the business of art is this very interesting topic for us. So I would like to learn myself and perhaps be a guidance for our league as well. So I'm excited to have 2 of my work, portrait of Max Ernst and portrait of Marc Chagall.
Just a comment about Marc Chagall. I've come to know him as the painter of 100 or so paintings of the crucifixion of Jesus. And I have used them often, especially one. And I was led to these because Marc Chagall said, I'm a Jew, Jesus was a Jew, and we have suffered. And so, hundreds of portraits of Jesus on the cross. They're magnificent. And Pope Francis's favorite one has many, many, many different images around. Well, tell me about, you mentioned that about Chagall.
When I was inspired by Chagall's, perhaps his vision, one-of-a-kind style that you can't really describe. He's not belong to any category, he's one of a kind. And as a child growing up, looking at illustrations of books, it was so touching, the fact that you couldn't really understand why he would choose the colors and forms and the storytelling. It just penetrates your soul so deep, that kind of stays. And I learned very early on that art is not always what it looks like, but how it makes you feel. And it is quite an impact for me was from his work. And by no means I can possibly replicate the feelings with his portrait. However, to capture his, using the colors similar and just show his face, you know, the wrinkled face and tiny eyes and asymmetrical proportions was something that I was just interested in. And yeah.
Beautiful, wonderful. Any other of your art or art surrounding us that you would want to comment on before you leave to teach at OU, huh?
Well, there's so many works here, and we have wonderful photographers, we have wonderful abstract artists, and some of them I've seen, and to be honest, they're definitely worthy of attention, and I wish all of them can be here to speak about their work and their vision, and perhaps using Erica's idea, you know, we can expand the opportunities for us to be able to speak, present, sell, and, you know, learn. So I think, you know, I wouldn't use 1 or 2 sentences to speak about such a wonderful art, and everyone deserves compliments and attention. But overall, I'm just excited to be part of the curating process, and it was an honor for me to create this collection, and yeah, looking forward to our next exhibits and next programming, and please stay tuned with us. The League is always welcoming patrons and art appreciators. You don't have to be an artist to be part of our community. There are so many ways to be involved in our programming events to appreciate art. So, and I would encourage to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and be in touch with us. And if you ever want to be connected with me and ask me questions, feel free to send me an email. I would gladly contact you and provide you all the information you need.
Fatima Taylor. We thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, let's share some conversation along with coffee. You know there's coffee there for you. Back there. Any questions, observations? Yes, Laura?
That's a very good question. Oh, I'm sorry, did you want to? So she asked what the commission structure is like for us at EBTH. So I can tell you that we have different commission structures. Suzanne can talk more about it after if you have more questions about it. I'm more on the art side and the curating side. So, but I can tell you that we have a sliding scale for this particular auction. The artists and the consigners who've brought work for this is a sliding scale. It starts at 50%. So if it makes $75 or less, the final sale, then we take half. Now, the more the final cost is, the lower the percentages that we take, and it's based on the scale that we have. So if you're if you're interested in that and you want to submit, we can get you that information.
Yeah, so Graydon Sykes is going to be here on Sunday, and what will he be doing here?
He will be speaking about his experiences with the Antique Roadshow on Sunday. And he'll also be talking about contemporary art and collecting. Graydon Sykes, he is a person, he's on the Antiques Roadshow.
What time, Erica?
We're expecting him at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions? So I can tell you guys a little bit about my background, which I wanted to let you guys know how I came to be at Everything But the House. I started out, I've been in the arts for over 30 years. I started out I went and did my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Drawing and Painting in Atlanta, and then I came up to Ohio to go to grad school. So I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and then I came here to go to grad school at the Ohio State in sculpture, and I have been here ever since. So I've been in the arts in so many different capacities. I began with AmeriCorps, the Children of the Future program that Jim Arter started. Do you know Jim Arter? Yeah, he's wonderful. He's been in the art community for a long time. I was part of the first year that they had that. Basically, it was a crime prevention arts program, so we were going into the rec centers and working with children in the different rec centers, and that was a fabulous experience here. So I started out doing that here. I was in the graduate program, and then I taught at Ohio State, I taught at Columbus College of Art and Design, and then I also taught at Capital University. I have been really active. I've had solo shows, I've been in group exhibitions. I was one time in the OhioArtLeagueExhibition when it was at the Columbus Museum of Art. So I've been in the arts in a lot of different capacities, and I can tell you that my heart is with the artists. My heart is with the creatives, and that's part of why I really love the opportunity to showcase artists' work and to help artists. Really, there's really three different things when I think about what we can do for contemporary artists. There's three different needs that I feel like we can help fill. One of those needs is basically it's exposure. We have thousands of people that come to our website every day looking at what we have to sell. And that is on an international level. And so we have people looking at this website every day, and we can present this work so that you're going to get exposure as a visual artist that you would not have otherwise. So you're going to have people seeing it from all over. And the other part about that too is about the exposure part. There's also, one of the things that I've learned at Everything But the House is I am researching artists that we potentially can sell. And one of the things that's really important is that they have a digital record. So if there is evidence of the artist online, if there are evidence of them having worked at auctions, and not all of us are savvy to have the websites, to have, all of that stuff out there. And here is the potential to have that digital record of your work. And also, we do a little bio for you so that people can, and that's on there all the time. So even after the sales ended, somebody can put your name in and that's going to come up. So that's part of the search. And one of the things that I've learned that the collectors and buyers are looking for is, are you a known artist? And that's one of the things that can not just raise the value of your work at EBTH, but if you're in a gallery or you're selling from your own website. So then it just helps to create that digital trail. And then the other thing, and maybe the most important thing, is a little bit of income. One of the things as an artist, I feel like, we need time to create. And if we don't have that time to create, not only are we not able to do the thing that we love, which fills us, but also people don't get the benefit of the work that we create. So this is another way, it's another financial pathway, honestly. It's not here to replace galleries or a website or any of that, but it really is a potential to earn income and to sell your work. And that's, those are just a few of the things that I feel like really can benefit the contemporary artist. So,
Erica, can you talk about the starting bid price and then how artists, when they navigate that and make a decision whether to get involved with an auction or not? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh yes, absolutely. So we do have, everything starts at $1 in our auctions. And that can be very scary for a lot of people to put their work out there for $1. What if it only sells for $1? What if it doesn't sell at all? And honestly, that is, that's a real fear. That's a reality. It's a potential, that could happen. However, it doesn't happen very often. And, something like a sale like this particular auction, we have a lot of eyes looking at it. We have taken time to market it so that nothing sells for $1, so that we get really good prices for the work. One of the things people have asked us is, why do we not have, a reserve bid? And I was talking to Suzanne about this just recently because, yeah, that's a really good question. Why do we not have a reserve bid? Why don't we start things at $50 or $100? And the reason is that, if you start at $1, everybody can buy it. Everybody has the potential to buy it. When you look at something and you say, wow, I could get that for $1, I'll tell you that we sold a Joseph Albers painting last year for $167,000? $162,000. And that painting started at $1. So that really creates this really unique experience that everybody has the opportunity to bid on those pieces. It's really exciting. So it also creates an emotional, while someone may look at a piece and say, oh, I have to start at $50, I don't know if I want to pay $50 for that. And yet, they are willing to pay $1 for it, and then they get invested in the bidding, and then the $50 mark comes up and they say, oh, but I really love it now. And then and there it goes from there. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was curious if the artist is obliged to sell it for $1 if he only gets that offer, or can he?
Yes, so that is part of the process, is that if they're, once you sign the contract, so the artist signs a contract with us, and unfortunately, if it sells for $1, it sells for $1, and that's how it goes. So there is a little bit of risk, honestly. It's not a perfect system.
Does that happen very often?
It doesn't happen very often.
We're really good about not taking things in that are,
Yes.
we really curate our sales.
Yes, so that's the other thing, is that if we can't sell something, we do have like a value threshold that we work towards on each piece. So if we feel like we're not going to be able to sell your work for a certain dollar amount, then we don't take it. Because we don't want to do that disservice to you, and then also, it's not worth our time and money to list it. Also.
So I've not been on your website, I'm not familiar with it.
You should go.
But I'm going to go.
Yes.
So is the process that each of these paintings has a number, and you can notate that number and search by it, and the price where the bid exists at that moment in time is posted, and then you go up from there. So tell us a little bit about how that would work.
So absolutely, that's absolutely how it works. If you go around and look at our pieces, you'll see that there's a name tag on each one. So you can go in, there's an item number, and and there's a name and a title, you can put any of that in. If you put the person's name in, the artist's name, or you put the title in, or however, or the item number, then that will come up. And then the piece will come up and you can look through it. And then once you have that piece up, it will show you what the current bid is. So it will show you the current bid, and then you can go ahead and bid from there. Yeah, did I answer all the questions? Okay.
Can we take photos of like the tags?
Of course, you can take photos of whatever, the piece, the tags, whatever you wish to take a photograph of.
I got these directions how to do this in 4 easy steps.
Excellent, yes. So we have a printout of directions. If you're not sure how to get onto EBTH, we've got the directions right here. If you need additional help, we can help you do that. And there'll be people here on Sunday also at the closing reception to help with that. Rick?
I just wanted to add that Doug and I are selling. We have 6 pieces in here from our collection, but I'm also bidding on 2. So I have it up on my phone. If anyone wants to check it out before you dive into it, the adrenaline will take over.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
And the other thing I wanted to say was very nice about this is we have a unique opportunity here where you've got an online auction and you can actually stand in front of the pieces that are for sale. The rest of the world doesn't get to do that. With this, we get to see them.
Absolutely, thank you. And that is true, we don't normally have previews, so this is a very special thing for us to be previewing the work, and to the Columbus Cultural Arts Center to allow us to be here. It's really wonderful. Did you have a question?
Yes. Is the bidding incremental, or does it go up dollar by dollar?
It's incremental.
Which is,
I'm not sure, Suzanne?
Yeah, it changes. I mean, up until it's at $1 for the first like $10, then it starts going $5, and then at some point it goes to 10 or 20. And after 200, it starts at $25 increments. And you know, it's like most auction houses. The higher you get, it gets bigger increments.
Yes. I can tell you this morning when I looked at the Emerson painting that's out here, there's a landscape painting. Emerson, who's a local painter, it's over $800, and that started at $1. So that's, you know, that's a reality. Yes, Inga?
I was curious about why these ancient, so to speak, paintings are out here. Is that part of your stock?
Yes, that's a really good question. So yes, those 3 paintings.
Repeat that question. Just repeat the question.
So the ancient paintings, ancient paintings in the foyer out here. There's 3 paintings that are out here. They are part of our auction. And we did decide to include in this auction, since it's a smaller auction, one of the things that we thought about doing was we had some consigners who had some older works. And we know that those works will do really well. So we wanted to bring those works in, one, to show that those were unknown painters at one time. These were unknown artists or lesser known artists at one time, and similar to some of the emerging artists that are here on the table. So we wanted to pair them together. Also, that Emerson was an early member of the Ohio Art League, which is really, I think, really interesting and great that he's in here with the Ohio Art League show at the same time. So the other thing that happens with that is that not just it also raises the bar on the work. So we know that those paintings are going to get higher bids, which also sort of adds the again, I'm sorry to quote Susan. You know.
Can you, Susan? I'm sorry, Erica. Can you talk about the Burkhardt and its place in the library when it was able to be checked out from the library?
Oh yes, oh yeah, Burkhardt. I'm sorry, I don't want to call him Emerson. I'm calling by his first name as if we were really good friends. I didn't know him. He died the same year I was born. Just want to be clear about that. The Emerson Burkhardt painting came to us from a family. The woman who brought it into us, the consigner, her parents actually checked it out of the Columbus Metropolitan Library, where I guess there was a time period where you could check out paintings to decide if you wanted to keep them or then purchase them, and they ended up purchasing it. And if you look at the back of the painting, it still has the card slot from when it was checked out of the library, which I think is really fascinating. Are there any more questions?
I wanted to add too about the website and the images that are on the website. There's at least 11 pictures of the same piece on there, and it's from very close up, so you can really get a good sense of what that piece looks like. So if you go onto the website and take a look, it's not just one image here, but you'll get really detailed images across the entire piece. That's a nice thing.
Yes, thank you about that. Yeah, we try to make sure that we get all different parts of the work, so you'll see the larger view, you'll see close-up views, and then the back of the object also, so you can see all of that. So make sure when you go on there and you're looking at work, you go ahead and scroll all the way through the photographs. You can see all the different parts. Of course, you're here with it, so you can see all the parts too, but photographs will show it all also.
Wow, that's wonderful. Maybe people want to take some time to scroll and look at the paintings, and then maybe
And bid.
And bid. Well, just
Please bid.
get some directions on how to do this. I was with an instructor here, and he said they're already bidding on my painting, so it's in process. So anybody want to stay to learn, or maybe you're just techie? What? I'm saying, oh, I'm okay. Is everybody okay?
One more thing I wanted to add, when you guys are watching the auction, and this is especially for the artists who have pieces in the sale, is that a large part of the bidding takes place on that last day. So if you're watching it, and you're worried about what's happening, it's really that last hour. It's a nail biter. I'm telling you, it really is. So be prepared for that.
I'm not speaking for myself because I'm not a painter, but when you take somebody's collection in,
And none of it sells, none of it incurs any interest. Is there still a fee to the artist?
So that's something that you can talk to Suzanne about.
I'm not talking for myself.
Oh,
It was just a generic question.
is there still a fee? No, there are no fees. It's just the commission. So whatever the work sells for, then we take a commission from
But
that.
if nothing sells, they just take it home.
Yes. Yeah. And that's also part of why we try to be very careful in the way that we curate, so that we make sure that we have works that can sell.
Suzanne Begley, you have anything to add,
Well,
reflect upon?
just that Erica is fabulous, and we're so lucky to have her here in Columbus. And she touched on the fact that that everything about the house, the website, we really do an amazing job at curating not only art and antiques and every other category, just because we do estates. But we have such a large following. We've got over 2 million bidders from all 50 states, over 150 countries, and we ship internationally. So over 80% of everything we sell here in Columbus gets shipped outside of Ohio. So we really have an unusual and unique opportunity to expose things to more than the foot traffic that you'll get anywhere else. So when you have items, we really do an amazing job with jewelry. We all have, I took in my grandmother's jewelry recently and I dropped it on the desk and our project manager goes, "Where'd you get this?" And I'm like, "It's been in my safety deposit box for 16 years. And I said, "My grandmother was a wonderful woman, but I haven't taken the time to get any of these sized down that I could wear them at this point. Am I going to do it?" And so we sold them, and when I got the check, I took a picture of it and I sent it to my daughter that was at Ohio State at the time, and I said, "This was Grandma's jewelry." And nothing would make her happier than know that one fiercely independent woman ahead of her time is supporting the next fiercely independent woman that's going to be ahead of her time in our family. And it just, and in other words, that what I got back, the "oh mom" and the crying, was much more valuable than all the time these pieces of jewelry had been sitting in a box. So we really can help families in so many ways. And art is, of course, one of our passions, and we love it. But there's just so many other opportunities also. So things that get shipped anywhere. You don't have to worry about, is somebody going to like it because they have to come in and see it. They're going to see it globally. It's just a different spin on things. It's kind of like, the tag sale thing on steroids. The estate sale on steroids. It just goes crazy at the end.
Before we're done, I wanted to introduce 2 other people too. So we have Dan Brown over here, and he is also an art specialist on the team. He's amazing. And then we have Dan Jenkins, who is our general manager.
asking you earlier, what else is it in the house? And when you shared jewelry, furniture, I thought, it's amazing. And I recently had an experience of looking for a piece of Department 56. I don't know if you know the wonderful Christmas village. And I could not believe the value that had increased on a piece that I wanted. I actually could not afford it. But I noticed that the pieces of Department 56 are smaller. They're not expressed as beautifully in art as the whole Scrooge story of Department 56. And I thought, when it comes time, and of course time is an amazing challenge, maybe I will turn to you and say, take everything but the house and share it with the rest of the world. Because if anybody wants a piece of Department 56 like I do in Scrooge's Village, they'll find another piece in my collection because you will have put it out there. It's an amazing gift to us, is it not? And you described that beautifully, Suzanne. That was really very helpful. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, enjoy.
Thank you.
The art surrounding you. Thank you.